Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambeau channel, and XRP is being sold today. Oh no, is the sky falling? No, damn it, the sky is not freaking falling. So you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna soothe your nerves. That's what I'm gonna do in this video today, because there's a lot of emotional selling going on. People thinking that XRP is tanking and they just want to get out before things get even worse. Can I just remind you that earlier this year, XRP was at like 11 cents, and as I'm recording this, it's at 55.9 cents according to Live Coin Watch. Things have been worse, right? So there's a lot to say on this, and I'm going to share opinions from a few different analysts, XRP analysts, within this video. And I want to say this before we even go any further. The macro bullish trend for XRP, according to all of the analysts that I'm following, is still in place. And what you are seeing right here is consolidation in terms of price action after a massive run-up from, right before the real rally started a couple weeks ago, 29 cents or so, up to, depending on what exchange you're talking about, close to 80 cents. So it's to be expected that there are going to be retracements, and there are just so many people new to the space that jumped in. There are tens of thousands of new XRP accounts activated in a short period of time. It's just the case that I think a lot of people are new to crypto and are not used to this type of volatility. I can tell you that I've been here 3 years, and if XRP weren't this volatility, then it would be weird to me. All right, but before we go any further, if you would please ever so delicately tap the like button, I would definitely appreciate the support. And also, if you are a fan of Ripple and XRP, well, you done came to the right spot, son. Go ahead and subscribe to the Moon Lambeau channel, or else you know it, your life will never truly be complete. All right, so like I mentioned, XRP's at 55.8 cents. Oh my god, since I started recording, it dropped a tenth of a penny already. Could this day get any worse? Bitcoin's at $18,734. You've got the market cap for the asset class at $558 billion, and Bitcoin dominance increasing a little bit to 62.32%. Let's start right here. I want to share this with you first. This is chart analyst Credible Crypto, and he told his 81,700 followers on the Twitters the following. And to be clear, I'm not going to read the tweet because it doesn't matter, but he was asked about, the effect that the Spark token airdrop for XRP holders might have on price analysis coming up. Here's what he had to say. I typically don't factor known events into my analysis. I prefer to simply focus on the charts, which remain extremely bullish. Dips are for buying, and I still don't think we see 30 cents ever again. 38 to 40 cents would be a dream buy. 40 to 55 is an incredible buying opportunity. And that is what this particular chart analyst firmly believes. And look, I'm never going to offer financial advice. To do not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say or write. And I do not have a financial background. I just like to talk about these topics for fun as a hobby and make YouTube videos. It's a good time. It's my most favoriteest hobby I've ever had. But that is all it is. Happy to share my opinion though. And I've been in this world for 3 years, and I see this endlessly, and I like to put an emphasis on conceptually what is happening here when I know that a ton of new people just entered this space. And so I'd like to spend just a moment doing this. And you have to realize that no chart is going to go up in a straight line. There's always going to be pullbacks. It doesn't mean the world's ending and XRP is going to zero. So this is the moment, especially if you just joined the world of crypto. So you happen to join right now, you happen to buy it, and now the opportunity is suddenly over in a matter of like a week or two. Like it's all about to go to zero. The S word is hitting the fan. Does that make any sense? Or might you be experiencing emotions that are dictating the way that you're buying and selling and holding? Well, we know that humans do this. And so if you can just arm yourself with this knowledge that, and you're a human, I get why you're doing it. It's not like I don't think you're actually a stupid person. It just makes you normal. So let's be weird and not let the emotions dictate what we do, right? Because look, I could show you, like with stocks, I could show you, roughly 100 years worth of charts showing stock market activity. And I could illustrate visually just how humans behave, because they behave the same there. It's just less volatile, because there's more of a frenzy around this asset class, and it's more liquid, which means it's easier to manipulate markets, and there's whales, a bunch of reasons. But I could show you about 100 years worth of stock market activity. And I can show you how lemmings follow one after another off the cliff, buying, maybe close to local highs, and then as it starts to tank, it goes down. I don't care if it's 10, 15, 20%, whatever it is. And then somebody sells, and the next person sells because they see the activity, and before you know it, you've got a bunch of lemmings falling one after another right off the damn cliff. And I can illustrate to you that it has nothing to do with fundamentals, it has nothing to do with long-term viability, it has to do with people copying each other and emotionally selling. I can illustrate this to you visually regarding the stock market. About 100 years worth of data. I could illustrate now the crypto asset class, much younger, but we got about 12 years worth of data. I could do the same damn thing. And you have to arm yourself with this knowledge so that you can remove the emotion from your buying and selling decisions. If you want to buy. If you want to sell. I'm not telling you what to do. I would never want to do that. And again, I'm not a financial professional, but you need to know this. You need to have this information that this is just how people behave. And so I'm aware of this, and I do not participate. And it's such a funny thing because as much as I critique this type of behavior, and I think it's silly, it's not logical. That's the trouble I have with it. But I also acknowledge that humans are going to do this. They're going to keep doing it. Even some that are armed with knowledge will keep doing it. And that's the thing, though. I like it. I like that they do it because that's what creates the volatility. If humans didn't behave like this, there wouldn't be this tremendous opportunity that I see with XRP or with stocks or whatever. Not like this. There'd be no volatility. There'd be nobody driving price. I need the emotional humans to keep doing what they're doing. I'm just saying that I personally don't want to participate here. And so it's just worth being aware of all of this. And I was also listening to the blockchain backer earlier today, and he happens to think it's actually likely that we are, and again, this is not a guarantee. When we're talking about chart analysis, it's about probability of outcomes rather than a promise of what's going to occur. If a chart analyst says with 100% certainty anything, you should probably just not listen to them ever again because that's a bunch of garbage. It's not about having some wizard that tells you what's going to happen. It's about probability of outcomes, and it's fun to track and be aware of. Look, I got skin in the game too. It's fun to track this stuff. I totally get it. And so blockchain backers thinking, don't be surprised if you see a good 48-cent XRP price level, but he insists that the macro trend is in place, and he thinks that these price levels seem cheap as well. And to me, I'm not purchasing XRP anymore because I had a problem with buying too much, and so I made myself stop. But to me, these price levels, if I were in the market for it, yeah, consider this. If we really believe that some of these targets that the analysts are talking about, like even just blockchain backer, who is an incredibly bullish target, but it's one of the lowest targets too. He's talking about XRP only. I use the word only. That's so much higher, but $10 to $13. And if you're purchasing XRP today at 55 or 56 cents, that's an incredible return. And he's insisting, and so is Credible Crypto, that the macro trend is absolutely still intact. DIY investing says absolutely, it's still intact. Nothing is changing here. Nothing at all. And so just understand that whenever you're purchasing crypto, it's infinitely unlikely that the price will never go lower than when you just purchase it. Because think about it. If you think that you purchase something and the price will only go up, that means that you are so fortunate that you are like the one person out of a million that was so fortunate to actually buy the exact bottom of a dip. Do you really believe that? Or is it more likely that things are going to be volatile and at some point it's going to be worth a bit less? And then markets, they go through the cycles that we know that they go through. And then at some point it ends up being worth more. What's more likely? It's a pretty reasonable question, I would say here. And so I just want to be clear to anybody that's, having the feels out there in a very negative way. I get it. You're human. There's nothing wrong with you, but knock it off. Make your own decisions. But, it's best to just use logic. And that's what I'm encouraging. That's all. I'm not encouraging buying or selling. I'm encouraging logic. That's it. All right. And there's another analyst right here, Ayush Jindal, whose name I may be accidentally butchering. It's foreign to me, so whatever, I'm doing my best here. But he wrote this piece titled, XRP is primed for a rally, and only one thing is holding it back. And this is a little bit earlier in the day, and there hadn't been as much of a dip. But his opinion here is that you could see XRP back above 70 cents if as long as you don't break below 55 cents. So it'll be interesting to see, because certainly, at least from a blockchain backer was saying, he thinks it's more likely than not you are going to see 40-something cent XRP, but he also doesn't believe that you're going to see 30 cents ever again, from what I've gathered. Incredible Crypto is very firm on that. You're not going to see 30 cents ever again. And so, to me, purchasing crypto and not having a long-term mindset is ridiculous. Absolutely, utterly ridiculous. And so that's why I've just been, like I said, when I was purchasing XRP, I just made my final purchase a couple months ago. And final, unless something horrendous happens that's so unexpected and it goes way, way, way back down, which would be outside of what any chart analyst is calling for, then I'd consider it again. I had one stretch goal I actually did not hit, unfortunately. But I had enough stretch goals for 3 years because, the bear market went on for a long time that I'm definitely not complaining. But, man, I just dollar cost averaged in for multiple years, and this doesn't faze me. It's, if I were responding emotionally, I don't even know how I'd hold crypto. I do sympathize with people. I know it's hard, especially when you just jump in and you're not used to owning an asset that is so volatile in terms of price action. You've got your own actual money invested here. I get it. It's emotion, but either this is going to be worth infinitely more. This is my humble opinion, again, not investment advice, but either this is going to be worth insanely more or it's going to zero. And whatever happens in the next week isn't going to matter. And I don't believe for a second this is going to zero. This asset class, I firmly believe, is going to be a multi-trillion-dollar asset class at some point. And I do believe you'll have individual cryptocurrencies that will be worth, the ones that have true staying power. I'd be surprised if you didn't see some, at least a couple, that on their own have trillion-dollar market caps. Hell, gold is worth $10 trillion, and these assets, these are incredible, and they're clearly getting global adoption in a major way, and it's only going to continue ramping up. It's such a small percentage of humans that own any crypto. Where do you think this is going to freaking go? And so all this short-term price action isn't going to mean anything, and it's not based on anything. It's people emotionally buying and selling, not considering fundamentals. It doesn't have anything to do with whether or not XRP is useful. It doesn't have anything to do with how many problems it's going to solve for however many millions of people as time passes. It has nothing to do with any of that. So who cares? People are just betting on the asset class as a whole right now. And it's worth noting this too. Here, I'll even pull up the Bitcoin. This is the 24-hour chart right here, just on Live Coin Watch. And I'm not some sort of chart wizard, but I'll tell you what, you can see that this is Bitcoin going down. Its 24-hour high was at 19,486, 24-hour low, 18,602. And what do you know? XRP followed Bitcoin. You can see its 24-hour high, 63 cents, 24-hour low, 54.8 cents. And it started going down in a notable way on this chart after Bitcoin did. The market is all tethered together, and you can't always see it down to the second, the minute, the hour. I get that. But sometimes you actually can. And when there are dramatic movements, especially to the downside, it's actually fairly common that it looks the same across the board. And so just to be clear, the market moves together. And if you're worried, if you're thinking the price goes down, that means that people are not so sure that XRP is useful or is going to be useful. That is not what they're considering. It really is not. And I think that fundamentals are going to matter more in the future. So why doesn't it today? Well, because we're in the nascency of this asset class. It's a brand new asset class, and people have not figured this stuff out. And it's going to take a long time to figure out clearly. Could take another decade or 2 or 3 or who knows for this all to be fleshed out. I mean, to think about the advent of the internet, it's always a fun thing to compare against, because there are certain things where there's a bit of overlap in terms of what we saw happen in terms of adoption and price activity with .com .com companies in the stock market, and it's really taken decades, close to 3 decades. For the promise of the internet to really deliver, to get to the point that it is what we have now. I mean, some of the concepts that were thought of in the mid '90s seemed absolutely impossible at the time, and now we have them. We have them today, and there are other things that couldn't have been dreamt up in the mid '90s that ended up coming to fruition within the last 5 or 10 years. And so it is going to take a long time for this to get built out. And then in the meantime, people are going to keep behaving like this, where they're just not sufficiently parsing out the differences between coins, because it's not easy to tell where there's utility. And the truth is, in 2020, as I record this, there's almost no utility anywhere. And so people are still just throwing their money in. So if you can just get that, get that concept wrapped around your head, it could help. People like me and perhaps you care about utility, but not enough do. And you get this lemming-like activity. And so I just choose to not participate, because if I participate, I'm going to lose all of my XRP probably. So I'm just going to wait, because I do firmly believe that it will be worth substantially more in the future than it is today. So I hope that you guys are emotionally feeling okay, and if you weren't, I hope that this maybe soothed you a little bit, at least emotionally, so that you can make whatever you think is the right decision for you. Because again, I'm not going to tell you whether or not you should buy or sell, but I will say using emotion to make life decisions that are major, not a good idea. Not a freaking good idea. So I'll wrap up there. I'm not a financial advisor. Do not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo.